All right.
Hey,
Ready to go.
who we here with today?
PV.
That's right.
What's up, guys?
So who is Paul? Mr. Paul Volpe.
It's Mr. Volpe.
That's right, Mr. Volpe.
Mr. Wildcat.
Just Tucson boy, born and raised. Paul Volpe.
So I heard a rumor last night. Been in the business 20 years.
Yeah, it's September 22nd. I celebrate my 20-year anniversary with our company. So I was 19 when I started at Nova. And
Wow.
here I am. It's a long time.
It kind of reminds me of
awesome.
20 years in the military. I'd have been retiring. You'd have been retiring right now.
I know. I'd be into my civilian career.
Ha.
Feels like I need to get into one.
So
I'm always in a war there.
So 20 years. What was the highest rates you've seen? Average.
Probably 7s, near 8. That's probably late 90s.
Wow. And then got down to 5s, and everybody.
Yeah,
was like,
and
"This is the
there was
lowest
like
ever."
we've always see this cyclical pattern of rates rising, rates falling, and and with that you just kind of ride the highs and lows, and
Nice.
the good news of
So people actually bought homes with 8% interest rates?
people will, and they always will, but I don't think we'll see rates that high anytime soon. Knock on
Yeah.
fake wood or whatever that is.
That's
That's
real
real
wood.
That's real wood.
Built it by hand, man.
We actually cut down the
Yes.
trees.
Yep.
Dried it.
Actually, and grew them from the start.
Nice.
Took a couple years, but
I
Absolutely.
think it's a little more than
Yeah.
a couple years.
Yeah.
so. Hey, you know what? There was a poker tournament last night. Did you know that?
Paul got second place, I heard.
He did. He got 2nd place. We won't tell how many people were in the tournament, but
Approximately 2.
Toulouse professional.
however, exactly to
number one ranked women's poker player in the country, right? That's not bad.
right. That was impressive. She was
That's crazy.
impressive.
And she's how old?
It's a good question.
20
20s.
something.
20s. Let's just keep it at 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
She's
awesome.
young. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's very impressive.
Got to get her on the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had nightmares all last night of like the hand I should have played and should have raised. And
She already knew which
Yeah,
ones you were going to
she
play.
already
That's-
I would have been the
dude,
champion.
She was so smart. Yeah.
So, started 20 years ago.
Mhm.
When you got into it, like, what did that look like? By yourself? What?
so I was a sophomore at the U of A.
Okay.
I was a pre-vet major. I wanted to be a veterinarian. Before that, I was wanting to be in the Air Force. I tried to get into the Air Force Academy and had an opportunity to go in that direction, as well as the Coast Guard Academy. They flew some people out to meet with me, and as you know, getting into any of the academies is a honor and a
Yeah.
very big deal and a very big process. And at the time, I had Jim Colby was our representative at the time, and he was my liaison to get there. And it's a process to get accepted and approved, and I had good test scores, and some of the paperwork kind of got jumbled up towards the end. And during that time in high school, my father was sick with cancer, and either I dropped the ball or a few teachers dropped the ball on getting some of the paperwork in, so I missed a cutoff, and they took a gentleman from our high school to the Air Force Academy.
Gotcha.
He played baseball, and he dropped out after 6 months
Oh
of
my
being in the
goodness.
academy. So ended up going to the U of A and wanted to be a veterinarian, and went through the whole process of orientation. And at the U of A, it's a pre-vet school, and then from there you can go on to a veterinarian school. U of A doesn't have one yet. They were
Gotcha.
trying to get one, but to go to Ohio State or something like that. But they kind of scared you straight. There was 30 of us, and they said, these are the statistics. 2 of you are going to be veterinarians out of the 30.
Wow.
And I kind of
Set the tone pretty
yeah,
quick.
and at the same time, I was also paying my way through college, and I didn't like the idea of having to get into a bunch of debt, and also going to further school. I mean, vet school is just as hard as medical school.
And still not be guaranteed outside
Yeah,
of that.
and then at the same time, my brother John said, "You should come work for me, man." And so I was like, "You should change your your thing to
Go to
business."
vet school.
Yeah. And at the time, he joined Nova in '94, so this is This is '98, and then he drove a Dodge Intrepid, and I thought that was a cool car. And I'm like, I want to drive a Dodge Intrepid, and I can work for my brother. I can get one of those nice cars. I'm a car guy, and he took me under his wing and just started working there sophomore in college. And I rearranged my schedule to work at Nova, I was like the nerdy kid that would, I wouldn't say nerdy, but I would wear my nice work clothes to school. I'd have my nice work pants on and tie them in a knot.
Basketball
yeah,
shorts
tie them
and
in a knot. Yeah, I
flip-flops.
had morning classes so I can go work at the company in the afternoon, and I was working almost 40 hours a week, still in school. And then, so that sophomore year, the next year, 99, our father had passed away from cancer. And so he, again, I was already kind of under his wing. So John's been kind of my father figure for a long time. He's 11 years older than me, but he just gave me an opportunity and, just graduated. And I was always kind of behind the scenes. I still see myself as a water boy, but I was like a water boy. I kind of did everything, learned everything from the back end. And kind of at that time, technology was starting to get into the mortgage business, and there was all these online automated systems. And, I was like one of the first people in our company to kind of master that because I was also a little younger and more techier, I guess.
So you ended up graduating with a veterinary degree?
No. So then I switched it to business my sophomore year,
Gotcha.
and then got my degree in finance. And
Nice.
I got my senior year, I got I was able to negotiate with the dean at Eller because I was working full time. That I was able to, you had to have 6 elective credits to graduate as well. So I was able to, and normally you only get 3 for an internship, but I was able to negotiate 6 credits. So I always have this nightmare that one day U of A is going to call me and say, you didn't graduate really. So I have to go back for 3
more.
You know what I would do? I just wouldn't talk about it on podcast.
Yeah. But it's all legit. My transcripts are there. So,
so started Nova 20 years ago. What was Nova like? Because out like when people that listen to this on the East Coast and whatnot, like they probably have picked up like Nova from the football.
yeah. So when I started at Nova, there was 24 employees.
Holy cow.
When John started in '94, there was 12.
Where was like the main office?
We were right on Wilmot and Broadway.
Where the office still is?
No, it was the building just right around the corner.
Gotcha.
There's like the National Bank of Arizona is there now, but we were just a small company. I mean, our Christmas trip, we took the entire company to Vegas, and I was 19 going to Vegas. Couldn't gamble or anything like that, but it was big deal. We stayed at the Sahara, which is no longer there.
You couldn't negotiate your way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember I had like $5 and I snuck like $5 into like a nickel machine, and I won like 1,000 nickels. And I remember just freaking out because you hear all the coins dropping. I'm like,
and it takes forever.
Yeah. So I'm like, and I was able to cash it in, and they didn't question me. So
that's awesome.
That was nice. But yeah, took the whole company. And we can't do that anymore. We have over 800 employees now. Unfortunately.
Wow. And in how many states?
We have offices in California, Colorado, Nevada, Arizona. We have kind of like a satellite loan officer that's out in Texas, but I'm licensed in 18 states personally.
Nice.
And my bread and butter is West Coast and obviously Arizona.
That's awesome.
So if you don't mind me asking, I'm do you know how many transactions Nova has been a part of like this year, do you think?
This year?
Or maybe, and then we can break it down to like your team. And
no, I mean, I think this year, I think they're averaging probably 1,100 loans a month, 1,200.
Wow.
I think last year we did over, 15,000 loans as a company. So we're, but you compare that to some of the larger banks, they're doing a lot bigger. So, we are a smaller, but we also are the, in Southern Arizona, the leading lender in Southern Arizona. I think we're top 10 in Phoenix, Maricopa County and whatnot. But
so how many transactions are you guys on track for, your team?
For this year, so our goal, last year we did just under, I think we did 1,044 loans last year.
Okay. So,
and obviously with rates rising, volumes kind of change and whatnot. So we've got a team goal to get at least 900, and we're on track for that. Obviously we'd like to get 1,000 if we can. But
so out of the entire company, 1 out of every 15 deals was done by Volpe
by me, by us, by my team and I.
That's
so
awesome.
That's pretty good.
It's impressive.
So what, when you look at your team, and you bring people on as you interview people and whatnot, what are some of the, so like people that are looking that are in management or leadership, what are some of the characteristics that you look for in people that are going to carry the banner of your name?
Sure. I mean, we look for team players, obviously. I can't do what I do without my team. So their success is my success, just like with you guys. We divide and conquer, and we look for genuine people, hard workers, people who are reliable. That's
Show up.
Show up.
Yeah.
How about that?
So and when we hire somebody to be with me on my team, I ask for a commitment. Nothing's in writing; it's just handshake, and I think your handshake is worth more. Your bond.
I think it goes a long way.
Yeah. So we just we and sometimes we've had some bad ones. We've had some really good ones. Some of the top loan officers in our company now. They're one of the top loan officers in the company, as well as top 200 in the country. So that's a testament. And my brother going to Stanford, that junior college in California.
Yeah.
He very type A personality. He's an industrial engineer. When he came and joined Nova, he's a former professional football player. He had gotten injured after playing for the Steelers and came back to Tucson to rehab, and that's where he kind of fell into the mortgage business. Ran into Ray Desmond, knew him for a long time, and Ray said, "Hey, you should come, work at Nova and check this out." And John saw opportunity to kind of institute his engineering mind into the mortgage business. And when John started, we were one of the first companies to bring on board the standard of having an underwriter. We had a mortgage insurance company through RMIC that let us have an underwriter in our office, and underwrite for certain banks, which was a pioneering feedback
big
then.
Deal back
Yeah,
then.
because before it was always broker shops. You'd have to send it out, have no control, but having the underwriter there. So we were able to pioneer that, and a lot of companies, obviously, that's the standard now. If you don't have your underwriter in your office, you're kind of behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
But and just kind of we have a system, everything, and we have our steps, and as long as you follow those steps, it's going to go through the system fine. If there's an issue, it goes back. It doesn't hop around, and just the just-in-time, engineering system, and that's just all I've ever known. I mean, again, I've been here for 20. I'm in my own little bubble at my office and my job, and I just kind of just stay in my lane, and it works. And obviously,
You just go by the systems and models, and everything comes out.
So we talk about it all the time. Is you take care of your people take care of you.
Yeah, so we've got people on my team that have been with me for 15 years. My processing managers, she's been here about 4 months longer than I have, so she's been there for over 20 years. So
Wow.
we've got not a lot of turnover per se. We've had, but we, I just, it's important to take care of your people and treat them with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give them respect, they'll give you respect back. Don't be a tyrant.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
That
For sure.
makes any sense. So
For sure.
Makes total sense.
be genuine.
You said you're looking at the military, and I kind of have an approach that I feel you did serve. And the reason I say that, I think you have served this community, bar none, just the things that you've done for the community are just huge. So
that comes from my brother kind of instituted that. I mean, again, our mantra is the more you give back.
Mm-hmm.
And Tucson's my home. I love Tucson to death. I mean, I never see myself moving anywhere else, maybe vacationing or going somewhere. But, I feel it's important to build in your community. Yeah. And we've got a great resource with the U of A, and try to keep those graduates in Tucson. That's important. I mean, a lot of people come from Phoenix, to come to U of A, and then they move back to Phoenix. That's great, but we need people who are going to stay in the community and build. I mean, Tucson's a great little town, and it's awesome.
It's the biggest little town.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
everyone knows it. There's always like 1 or 2 degrees of separation here. Everyone knows somebody.
It's just
somehow.
creepy.
there always is.
Yeah.
Creepy. Yes.
It's just like it's.
Your
We run
wife,
into
your
it all
wife
the
working
time.
with my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
were
run
just talking
into
about that. It's crazy, but it's the culture. It's the culture of the town, but I think that is a testament to businesses in Tucson, because like my father-in-law owns a plumbing company, and he could work 24 hours a day and still be behind because of all the referrals he gets. If you have a great business, you'll never go hungry. If you don't take care of people and you're not trustworthy, that reputation goes just as fast as good reputation.
Well, and surrounding yourself with good people. I mean,
Absolutely.
I remember working with my brother, and he was a control freak and hands-on everything. And there would be countless of times where I would be with him, late at night, staying overnight sometimes at the office, not even going home. because he was trying to do everything without, dividing and conquering. So he finally saw the light that he's only one man, and you need help, and you need to surround yourself with good people, and that's how the whole team concept came together, and that's why you see a lot of teams in the business.
I was going to ask you about that, and so you've got a team in the lending side, obviously. So that leverage piece is huge. You just mentioned that, but what is it that kind of creates that synergy? And I'm going to kind of call that cohesive overlap. I mean, yes, there's systems and models, but how do they stay accountable to each other? Do you?
Well, I mean, we have goals every month. We set goals. I also give them the freedom to. I'm not hovering or babysitting them. I have full confidence that if I have them take over or work with a client, that they're going to work with them start to finish. I don't need to get involved unless I have to, which is very rare.
Were there standards set in place? Do they know what standards are? Or
yeah, it's make sure you do a good job up front. And we have a thing called do it right the first time, where every file goes through this system, DERF we call it, and it's a checklist. And we have our loan coordinators that goes through those checklists, and they catch anything that we may have missed, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we give the client a great experience from start to finish, and the last thing you want to do is be calling somebody on a Friday at 2:20, and you're supposed to close on Monday, or supposed to get the keys that day, and I missed something. So
it should have been caught earlier.
It's a checklist. I mean,
exactly.
People, I think that there's a people want to stay away from checklists because they want flexibility and whatnot. But checklists,
more of them.
But it gives,
if you have to do something more than once, it needs a process and a checklist.
And if there's times where mistakes are made, and it's how we learn from those mistakes. We're all human. I still make mistakes, and I learn from those. And if you continue to make the same mistakes, maybe it's not the right business for you. Yeah. But having those systems in place allows me to have a life after work. I'm pretty routine. I get to work, pretty much 6:45, 7 o'clock every morning, and I get home by 6:30. So I'm always at home for dinner. And fortunately, with technology, you're able to be outside the office, but I'm typically in the office from 7 a.m. to usually 6.
So how do you balance that lending, especially? Like there's lenders I know, and I understand their seasonality from the business that, they just kill themselves working nonstop.
Yeah,
how do you focus on that leverage? Because you've got 4 kids.
3. Confirmed. How
do you maintain that balance as well as work hard, play hard?
I mean, you have to. Your family's always first. And the reason why I work so hard is for my family.
Yep.
And I'm fortunate enough to have a profession to where I can have some freedom and whatnot, and put money away for college. And at the same time, I also, I take care of my mom. She's like my 4th child, I guess you can say. But I'm fortunate enough to where I can take care of her. I cover her experience, her expenses, and bought her a house several years ago.
That's awesome.
And I've bought her house many years ago, actually. But you got to be able to, put your family first, and that's why you work hard, and knowing that you have that weight on your shoulders because they're looking out for you, and also understanding that anything that you do could affect their future. Yeah. And I kind of run my business in fear of letting people down. So like the last thing I want somebody to be is disappointed in me, or because I did something to where, I committed to something and it didn't close. Knock on wood, I haven't. Again, knock on the.
That's one of the things that I always talk about, that I don't think I can ever remember of the hundreds of loans that you've done for that it didn't go through.
That's why we have
known
our
up front.
Sure.
So, and we encounter agents all the time. I'll come across and go, "Hey, what do you do in this particular situation?" I'm like, I honestly don't know, because we've never encountered that.
Well, it's
the
also
relationship with the lender is huge.
And it is, and it's always about doing. If you do your work up front, and
there you go.
It's again, like for this, last month we closed 85 loans as a team, and I had to get involved on a couple of them just to make sure the conditions were clear or something like that. But it was all set up, because once I set it up and it's with my loan coordinator, and then from there it goes to processing, I usually don't have to get involved, and we'll keep in touch with the clients and agents and whatnot. But we and the other nice thing is that we meet with probably 95% of our clients face to face. And
Love it.
And I think that's important, even though we're in the world of, trust me, I mean, I hate going to the mall or going to the store. It's always easy to go to Amazon or get something online, but when you're doing financial decisions,
They're trusting you with the biggest financial purchase of their life.
and a lot of people, they just, oh, you qualify for this? All right, I'm gonna send you the disclosure. Just sign them, send them back.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the issues come up, because with them coming and meet with me and bringing their paperwork and answering questions, you avoid those 11th hour bombs saying, oh, I did miss this on your banks. Yeah. So it's that face to face. And that's important because, not to knock other lenders that do stuff online, but these bigger banks you've heard of, you hear the radios, it's all done online. And sure, it's great and easy, but you don't have that personal connection. And usually they're not.
Sometimes we have clients, you say easy. I would kind of, I don't agree with that. It's usually not easy on our end, because that's usually what happens. It falls through, and the next thing you know, we have to go to you to kind of clean it up.
Sure, and I build my business on other people's mistakes too. So
you're gonna put we talked about it. You're gonna put the work in no matter what. You either put it on the front end, getting everything done right, or on the back end, try and clean it up because you didn't put the time in on the front end.
And with our business, knowledge is everything, and knowledge builds trust. And if you don't know the answer, don't try to make it up. Get the answer. Just I'll get back to you on that. But it's like I said. I mean, I lose sleep over certain loans and whatnot, but that's very few and far between. And as long as you get it done up front, I mean, I'm not one to just throw it against the wall and hope it sticks, because that's not fair to anybody involved. Because you got everybody. I've bought a home before, and it's an emotional process, and people are set on a date, and it's just an emotional process, and it's making sure that it goes smooth is important.
Yep.
I got a question. What are you working on now? I heard a little bit of tidbit of Honor Flight. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm part of several groups in Tucson. My wife thinks I do too much sometimes. So I'm a conquistador, Tucson conquistador. So I've been with that group for a couple of years, and their focus is it's all about the kids, raising money for youth sports and whatnot. So I'm part of that. Also through another group called Empower, where we're meeting with Honor Flight next week. We do a event called the Beefsteak, where last year we raised $110,000, and I'm trying to appropriate some of the funds and we're focused on veterans and military here in Tucson. So we've got that coming up to where would love to fund a flight like you did, and how I brought you into that many years ago, and that's
thank you for that. And I think that contribution, that's just huge,
near and dear to my heart. So, and and there's a couple other groups I'm part of that we just helped out, the United Way.
I don't know how you only have 24 hours in a day. I just don't, because you're out there doing everything, which is cool.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my nature of my business is I'm always available, as you know. So you can call me or text me, and I'm going to answer my phone. And that's the hardest part of our business, is just getting back to people, which is the easiest part, I think. So as long as you communicate, you'll be successful and say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say.
I think that especially like everybody in this room here they would not be possible without our spouses. Like it's just.
Oh, I don't. I mean,
I will say for the record, I think every single one of us married up.
Oh, I got it.
When I say they out-kicked my receivers, like it is. I thought my wife was blind until we got married, because I'm like, what's going on? Like.
No, my wife is, I don't know how I know she can get frustrated sometimes, but she understands that, we work hard for our kids.
Absolutely.
And she works just as hard. I've got a 7-month-old as of today, and his name is Lute, and, he's not sleeping through the night. He's up at midnight, 4 a.m. and she lets me sleep, thank God, but I still kind of, I raise my eye, and I just feel sorry for her, because she gets out of the bed and she goes to feed him. But I don't know how she does it, and she's got a smile and never complains. Just, she's a great mother, and keeps the household straight and keeps me straight. She's my social calendar too, so she's always reminding me I got this going on. Don't forget about that. So.
Oh goodness,
that's awesome. U of A.
Yeah.
What
you got to wear the colors on Friday. I'm sad you guys didn't get that.
I got blue.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right.
Yeah. What is exciting? What's exciting for you about the U of A right now, or the future, about what's going on?
again, it's a Tucson born and bred, institution. I support anything that's in Tucson. Thank God we don't have that other college in Tempe here. But no, I mean, it's my wife and I live near campus. We do a lot of things based upon the U of A schedule. Our social calendar on the weekends is basically football games, basketball games coming up. We're going on a trip. We're taking the family to Hawaii, to the Maui Invitational in November. So we get to fly with the team, hang out with them there. Cool. So, but yeah, and it's just we love U of A, and I'm a little psycho about it. But
good school,
my wife and I got engaged at McHale Center.
Nice.
So it's pretty special.
My wife is a Wildcat elementary education.
It's great. I mean, it's red, white, and blue. I mean, how could you not?
That's right.
It's American.
It's America.
Yeah.
But no, and the funny thing is God bless Arizona State, to some extent. But my niece and nephews, so my brother's kids, my niece Kaylee, she's amazing student, got a full ride to, we call it the Honors Barrett's College, the Honors School at Barrett, at that place in Tempe. But and then our son, her brother, my brother's son Trevor, he is at the U of A running track. So it's definitely a house divided.
Wow.
I've got my 3 kids, and as much as I want them to all go to U of A, I don't know, I just have a feeling that one of them's gonna go there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But they can go anywhere. They can go to NAU, they can go wherever. But
it's such a funny rivalry because it's one of those where, so my best friend, his name's Stephen Berg, he just passed away, he was a lineman for ASU. And it was just one of those where it's like, there's this fun-loving banter back and forth, but it's like, it's still Arizona.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
So a very good friend of mine. We're at the lake this past weekend for the holiday. His name is Adrian. He's another loan officer up in Phoenix, and so I'm a U of A. Like, I'm diehard U of A. He's diehard ASU. So I remember the first time I met him, we were going on this. We had our chairman's trip where all the top producers go. We went. I think we were going to Hawaii that year, and we all never met him. Met up in Sky Harbor because we're all flying as a company. And he's wearing like Arizona State shoes and this like pajamas, and I'm like,
gangster,
and I'm like, I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, are you serious? And then
yellow,
yeah,
that's a cool
I was
color.
like, dude, and we ended up becoming best friends, and we do a lot. This past summer we were in San Diego together as a family. Nice. Went to Mission Beach, but the ultimate troll is, so our son is named Lute, Lute, over a legend at the U of A, and I made him the godfather of Lute. So
that's awesome.
And he won't call him by his name.
Oh my goodness!
He just calls him L Train. So a little troll there, just so I can get a little.
That's pretty good.
But
that's awesome.
They'll hold the ground.
But yeah, so we try to go to the ASU games together, where I'll visit him for the football game up there, and he'll come down for this.
That's
so
awesome.
It's pretty fun. It's good to have that rivalry.
Nova Home Loans Bowl this year.
Yep.
When do you have a date?
December 29th, Saturday.
I was absolutely thoroughly impressed this last year of just going there and going, dude, there's a ton of people here. Like,
we got lucky with New Mexico State and Las Cruces. I mean, literally half of Las Cruces was in Tucson. Yeah. So we were blessed by that because it was the first time they've been in a bowl game for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
And
it was just like perfect weather. The whole experience was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a day game. And it's gotten traction. I mean, last year it was like ranked, I think, like 7th or 8th of the bowl games of that year, and started from nothing. Back in the day, I remember going to like the Copper Bowl, back when they had that, and went away. So, Ali Farang and came up with the vision to bring a bowl game back to Tucson, and we got on board again. And with the Nova Home Loans Bowl, it's the only bowl game that gives its profits to charity. So we don't do it for profit; we do it to give back to charity. So like at every tailgate for the last few we've had, there's a little section for all the charities that we support, and they raise money for that, which is again just giving back to the community and whatnot.
I went tailgating and we watched luchador Mexican wrestling before the game.
It was there, yeah.
I walk around the corner.
It's like the nacho
Libre, and I'm like, well, definitely watching this.
Yeah, El Charo helped out getting like the Nacho Fest going on.
Yeah,
and
that was cool, man. Just walking
Oh, yeah.
around all the tents, get different nachos. It was incredible.
I think one of the cool things is the flag that's flown there
Mm-hmm.
is actually.
Yeah, so I do. So another group I'm part of, his name is Charlie Foley. He's a police officer with TPD, and he does flags for the flagless. And he got me involved several years ago. And again, I didn't have an opportunity to serve the country in the military. My family's all military. My dad was in the Air Force, and grandfathers were in the Air Force. It's World War II and whatnot. But Charlie, and again, near and dear to my heart, Charlie gave me an opportunity to help be part of this, to help pay for flags that he goes around to different schools, whether it's on the reservation or here at TUSD or different school districts, where he will bring in flags that are donated or purchased by myself, and put them in those classrooms to have that, and also replace flags that have flagpoles
Tattered.
that have nothing,
Yeah.
tired and whatnot. So he just did. There was a school down in southwest Tucson. He just was out there a couple days ago. But so with that, he also, every home football game for the U of A, every flag that's flown at Arizona Stadium is from a veteran that had passed away, their internment flag, and he invites his family to each game, and they get a ticket, and they get to see their flag fly above the regular season games, and then with the bowl game. So with my father passing away, I have his flag at my house, and he was like, "Wouldn't it be a great idea to have your dad's flag fly above the stadium during your bowl game?" And so the last year, so it's pretty special. So every year I get to bring it out, and he puts it up there, and
That's incredible.
it's pretty amazing to see that.
That is
so,
neat.
pretty special.
Yeah, you've definitely created a culture of giving back. We head down in October to Mexico to go build another house. Got my One Mission shirt on, and Summer, who works for you, was like,
I made sure she's bringing her son.
Yep.
She is, yeah.
So
And she's just like, I'm in. Like, I'd met her once or twice, and she's like,
and she's trying to instill into her son Parker, who's
It'd be great.
16, and
gonna be
he's
grateful.
I brought my 9-year-old daughter down.
My daughter,
April,
yeah.
your daughter, who
Twice.
is 18, twice now. It's just, I believe those are, like you're saying, instilling is they become just better people as a result. You can't help. But
Oh yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, it was instilled in me when I was younger. I remember I grew up in Green Valley and Sarita back in the day, and I remember going to the orphanages in Nogales. My dad would take us down there and bring toys and kind of give me another aspect of, hey, appreciate what you have, because our kids these days, I mean, I won't say they're spoiled, but they definitely have a lot more than
they're not wanting.
Yeah. And we live in a country that, you can be very, we're very fortunate to have a country that we live in that, we're not, you go to other countries and you see what they don't have and what the opportunities we have here. And
They're trying to survive still.
yeah.
But
Food and stuff, yeah.
we've yet to go down to Mexico and meet a sad family that we're building a house for. They've got nothing, and they're
They have
just
so
happy.
little, yet they have so much.
yeah.
Yeah. So I got one more question for you. What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned in this industry over
There's business. I think it's kind of a thankless job. There's a lot of things that you do behind the scenes that people don't understand. Like even as a realtor, what you do to get things to the finish line. Yeah. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen. And the biggest lesson I've learned is taking care of people up front. And our business is based on referrals, and that is how our business is built on. Just treating people right. Don't treat them like a commission check, because that's great. I mean, that's why we do this business, is to make a living. But if you're in the business to make just money and that's it, you're gonna miss the whole picture of it, because without those people, you won't have a living.
We call it commission breath. Like you know, real quick, the ones that are in it just to make a penny and turn it as fast as possible.
Oh yeah, I've had agents just they'll bring, hey, my commission check this is more important than anything, just make sure this house closes type situation. I don't care what it kind of there's some shady people in our industry sometimes.
It's nice getting to the point in your business where I hate to say turn down business, but you choose who you choose who you're going to get in a business with.
I love that.
Yeah, there's That is very, you surround yourself with like-minded people.
Absolutely.
You don't associate yourself with people who just are going to use you.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And a lot of people self-discover their way out.
That's right.
So it's a fun business. It's just it's a crazy business. It's changing, ever changing, and
Every day is different.
every day is changing. So there's always new changes and guidelines and.
So what do you see yourself in 10 years or 20 years?
I don't know. I'm 39, so got big 40 next year. I don't know. I mean, I got some years left of me still, I think. But just my nephew Trevor, sophomore at the U of A, he just passed his loan officer test, so he wants to get in the business.
The
So
baton's kind of
so like
out there a little bit.
he's same kind of age where I started, and
cool.
he wants to get in. So I'd love to see him be successful, and his goal, like. I was the number one loan officer in the country 2 years ago, and a couple years before that, my brother was several times, and that's his goal. He wants to be the number one.
That's pretty sharp.
And that's a testament, little old Tucson, Arizona. We do good business here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think we were discussing that a little bit earlier. So that's pretty impressive when you think about it. Little old Tucson, but you got the number one loan officer, that's out there cranking it in.
Just do things right, I guess. I don't know. You surround yourself with people who are like-minded and do good business, and you look out for each other. And I've got agents like you guys, as well as other agents that have been with me since the beginning. But the way I see it, I'm as good as the last loan that I closed, and you're as good as the house that you sold. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past; it's what you can do now.
Well,
Aaron was meeting with a guy that's looking to get into the business today, and something he said to him was, he wakes up every day like he's unemployed.
Yeah.
It's
be thankful for what you have, and just remember that you're one mistake out of being out of the business, and that's why you do things the right way. Don't cut corners. Don't do anything that's going to put your license. Don't be greedy.
Yep. And I think if you have that system and model that's in place, then that's what you go by.
Yeah.
Across those standards.
Base hits win a baseball game.
Try not. Don't hit the home run every time.
I'm sure
you'll get them.
I'm sure that you don't exclusively close $1 million plus deals.
No, I mean it'd be amazing. But,
right. But I mean, it's the base hits.
We do a lot of littles to get into a lot of lots. So it's and our awesome. Our market. And fortunately, Tucson, and I don't know if I could be as successful in other markets, but Tucson is just a little it's just like a little everyone knows everybody, especially in the real estate business. Everyone knows everybody, and then also. People remember you. Trust me. If you screw up one time, they're going to remember that, and you just gotta, like I said, run your business in fear. I guess.
A lot of people say reputation doesn't matter. I disagree with that. I think it does. I mean, especially in this industry, you treat them right, they're going to remember that. You treat them wrong, they're going to remember that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't be a jerk. I was going to say the other word. Don't be a D.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's just, and the other thing too is within Tucson is what I think is a little more unique about it is you start seeing generational, like you were talking about your nephew. My dad ran a title company here. My brother works at a title company. Mm-hmm. I'm in real estate. You start to see these, sons and cousins.
We're still a small business. You see a lot of small businesses that are family ran or at least, I consider people on my team my family. May not be blood related, but they all look for each other. But it's just just got to keep the machine going.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything you want to mention?
We do shout outs.
Yeah.
So we'll go first. You have to think of someone you want to give a shout out to. You get to go first.
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. I didn't even have a shout out yet.
Heck yeah. You gotta think of one quick. I got mine already.
Quick, go for it.
I'm going to shout out to Dustin Lynch for making awesome music so we can go to his concert tonight.
I wish I had boots like Paulo there. See those?
Those are.
You see those?
Those are something else, man.
Merca.
Nashville, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nashville.
There you go.
So, you don't even know Dustin Lynch, but you do.
That's at Ava, right, tonight?
Yeah. Yeah. Ava.
Yep.
Not gonna rain, so that'd be good.
Yeah. It's just gonna be 90 degrees.
Yeah, my wife's flying in. Gets in about another 45 minutes, so pick her up and go straight on over there.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to your wife.
I'm going to give a shout out to Allie on our team because she's been just cranking it out with the social media stuff and doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that nobody knows until it's actually out there, and they still don't know it was her.
Do we want to talk about her dog now? Or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So you're basically a vet.
That's right.
Her dog is a pug.
He's here.
That's fun.
Yeah,
The
the
pup
eye
is
popped.
here.
Yeah, the eye popped out. Right.
The eye popped out.
Just literally popped out, and she came in, and they had to remove the eyeball, so they stitched it up. So Aaron and I,
What's the dog's name? What was his name?
Cooper. Now its
Popeye.
name is Popeye. So we got we'll send you the picture, but we found some googly eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
nice.
stuck a googly eye over the other eye. It was
Oh, nice.
Hey.
basically brand new.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was gonna put a marble in it, but they sewed his eye shut.
Those pugs, man, you got to be careful. Those
I don't know
eyes.
how. I mean, she's like, what do you do?
Inbreeding.
Squeeze it too hard?
Years and generations of inbreeding.
Yeah.
I had a pug. Name was Chuck Norris.
That is. Oh, nice.
Yeah, she passed away a couple years ago.
2 eyes.
2 eyes.
Got one of the good ones.
Yeah, that's why you don't squeeze them.
Gosh, that's not what happened. I hope. I hope.
So
Shout out.
I give a shout out to you guys. I wouldn't be successful without you guys. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you guys.
And your friendship. I consider you a friend
Absolutely.
over anything else. So
Absolutely.
you're one of the most genuine guys I know and the nicest people I know.
Oh, well,
Next
thank
to Juan and everyone else on your team. But
You're a good man.
You're,
awesome.
I wish everyone was like you.
I did have a question. How long did it take you to grow that beard?
We were talking about that earlier.
It's probably about a month, but I shaved it. I cut it
That's
down.
impressive,
So I'm doing this for every year. I do a camping trip with my friends from college and high school. So this year I'm hosting it, called Campathon. So we used to go camping. Now we go glamping.
Nice.
Yes.
So we've got we would get tents and go to the Sierra Nevadas, and then we all kind of got a little older, had
Okay.
kids.
Sounds
Now we
fun.
It's getting old. My
yeah,
back
so-
hurts. Yeah.
So this year I'm hosting it, and all the guys are flying in at the end of the month, and giving them all. They're come from Texas and California, Washington, and we're going to Sonoyta, and then taking them down to Tombstone for the OK Corral, and then Bisbee, and then we
Oh, that's
come back
pretty neat.
around for the USC game. But we all grow our beards out because that's what we do, and we're gonna have some really. I've got to maybe have some kind of like some handlebars or
So
something.
they're not staying in tents though. So
No, so we
this
were
like-
staying at the Copper Queen in Bisbee.
Oh, okay,
that
yes,
night,
the
where it's
haunted hotel.
Yeah, and then coming back for the tailgate on Saturday, I've got to set up with the UVA. We're going to go on the field and got our skybox
Nice.
and whatnot. So just giving them full experience, and then we'll crash at my house. So my wife's out of town, thank God.
oh my goodness.
the
Oh
kids
my
are gone,
goodness.
so it's just a
Nice.
it's fun.
Perfectly scheduled.
And it's important to have I'm pretty tight knit with a lot of my friends from high school and these guys. Like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
When we got married, all the wives know that every year you got Campathon.
So
like-
does
it's like
everybody
the
grow their
tag
beard
movie.
out?
exactly.
Does everybody grow their beard out?
Yeah, the ones that can.
Oh,
There's
really?
a couple of them that have spotty
Oh, my
and they look
goodness.
gross, and this is not great.
So is it
but-
like a month
What-
ahead of time?
You got,
or,
you got those guys.
Oh yeah,
where
no. There was literally on the way here. There was a text thread where they're all giving updates of their facial hair. I mean, I can show it to you if you want to see. There's literally there's 10 pictures.
There's
and we're
those
all
guys where their facial hair doesn't look like facial hair.
Yes, right.
just
Yeah.
patchy. So,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's a good way to
That's cool.
relax, and it's just it's important to have those relationships even with your
Absolutely.
family, because they are
Yeah.
family.
It
So
goes
it's-
back. Relationships
Yep.
matter.
So-
That's
Yep.
what matters most. That's what makes people who they are.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if someone's got a loan, buying a new house, how do they get a hold of you?
I know a guy.
You know a guy?
Yeah. How do they get a hold of you?
They can Google me. There is a Paul Volpe poker player. If you didn't know that, he's a professional poker player,
not.
but it's not me,
Nice.
obviously.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty obvious.
yeah, obviously.
Doesn't
no,
have a sweet beard either.
Google Paul Volpe poker, and
Okay.
you'll see this guy is legit. He's from Philly, but it's funny because him and I are friends on social media, and we've kind of gone
Nice.
back and forth on some things. But yeah, they can call my cell phone. If you see my bus benches, my cell phone's on there. 520-241-4048.
Website?
And, VolpeTeam.com.
Sweet.
And Paul at NovaHomeLoans.com. It's pretty easy.
If somebody's on the fence about buying a new home, why should they do it now?
I mean, real estate's always good for long-term investment and wealth. And why continue to pay rent to somebody else and building their own wealth? Do it for yourself.
Cool.
So it's they always say it's a great time to buy. I think the market's pretty healthy. We're not going to see, if we do see a slowdown, we're not going to see what we saw 10 years ago. And a lot of that happened because of terrible lending practices, and fortunately we went from one extreme to another, and all the loans that are being done now are healthy performing loans, verifiable income.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of, so I think if they're worried about that, again, and Tucson's a pretty affordable market. Buying somewhere in San Diego or some of those higher costs, that's a little
Yeah.
tougher, but yeah, I mean, it's a great time to buy. Right?
Awesome. Good. All right.
Sweet.
I don't have anything else. You got anything, Paul?
No, just bear down.
That's
Yep.
right. All right.
Got a big game on Saturday at Houston.
Yes.
There we go. All right.
Good.
All right.
All right.
We're
Peace
good.
out. Thank
We're
you.
out.
Later.